Have you ever tuned in to a late-night radio talk show? The kind where callers share scary stories and you can't tell what's real and what's made up? That happened one Halloween night at WKXT 89.7 FM. It was supposed to be just another shift for Evan, the college DJ on the night shift. The studio hummed, and the phones were lined up, ready for anyone daring enough to call. His segment was simple: spooky stories, urban legends, Halloween tales meant to make listeners shiver, then laugh it off. Just another quiet night on the air, or so he thought. But that night, the voices that came through weren't just stories. They carried something heavier, something that turned simple tales into something terrifyingly real. By the time Evan realized what was happening, it was already too late. This is Dead Air. It was Halloween night at WKXT 89.7 FM, a small college radio station at the edge of town. Behind the mic sat Evan, a junior with a smooth voice and a sharp wit. Most nights, his show was just background noise for a few insomniacs, students cramming for exams, and the occasional lonely trucker passing through. But tonight, it felt different. His segment was simple: Halloween tales, urban legends, creepy stories, the kind of things callers loved to argue about. What was real, what was fake, and what belonged in the realm of late-night imagination. The phone lines lit up almost as soon as Evan opened them. At first, it was exactly what he expected. A voice came through, mocking and playful. "Hey, DJ! Did you hear about the man with the hook for a hand? He's right outside your studio window." Evan laughed, tossing back a joke about locking the doors. The caller hung up, giggling, and the next line lit up almost immediately. This one was teasing, trying to spook him with a spooky voice. "I'm calling from inside your station. Better check the storage closet." More laughter followed. More pranks. Just the usual Halloween crowd. Bored students trying to scare the guy on air. Evan played along, his voice smooth and steady, teasing back at every ridiculous claim. Then another light blinked on the board. He pressed the button, expecting more of the same. But this call was different. A woman's voice came through, low and trembling, not laughing, not mocking, just whispering. I think someone's in my house." Evan froze for a half second, then forced a nervous chuckle. Another prank, he told himself, someone upping the ante. He leaned toward the mic, ready with a joke. "You hiding in the basement or something?" he asked, half joking. Then, almost too quiet to hear, she answered, "Yes." The playful energy from earlier vanished, replaced by something heavier, something that made the studio feel suddenly colder. She whispered like she was afraid someone would hear her. "I'm in my basement. I think someone's upstairs." Evan smirked, half convinced it was a prank. He leaned back in his chair, spinning his pen between his fingers. "You sure it's not just trick-or-treaters? Big bad wolf, maybe?" he joked. There was no laughter. Instead, a muffled creak, like a door opening. Then heavy, deliberate footsteps. Slow, coming closer. He's coming downstairs," she whispered, panic threading her words. Evan straightened in his chair, the smile fading from his face. It could still be a performance, he told himself. But the sound, the wood groaning, the footsteps descending, felt real. A pause, and then a man's voice, low and chilling. "You can't hide forever." Evan's stomach dropped. His hand hovered over the console, unsure if he should cut the line. On the other end, motion erupted.
No!
Scrambling, a muffled cry, the sound of something falling, a sharp thud, then silence. Evan leaned closer to the mic, breath caught. "Hello, ma'am? Are you there?" No reply, just the faint crackle of static and the distant, unmistakable sound of something heavy being dragged across the floor. Then the call cut out. Dead air. The basement call had ended, and Evan swallowed hard, forcing a nervous laugh as he tried to cover the tension. He joked into the mic, pretending the previous caller had been part of some elaborate prank. "All right, folks, pulling out all the stops tonight. Basement Girl really put some work into that one. Almost had me believing it," he said, voice shaky but steady enough to keep the show moving. The phone line blinked again. He pressed it, expecting another prank or teasing comment. A young man's voice came through, mocking and playful. "Good one, DJ. Basement Girl really had me going. What did you do? Have somebody waiting with sound effects? Come on, admit it." Evan laughed, trying to hide the lingering unease. "Yeah, that's right. We've got a Hollywood Foley artist under the desk, just waiting to bang some pipes for us. You caught me." The caller laughed and hung up. The line clicked dead. Evan exhaled, rubbing his face, trying to keep his composure. Another line blinked. He answered, keeping his tone light, masking the tension. "WKXT, you're on air," he said. A woman's voice came through, hesitant, uncertain. Was that real? Evan chuckled stiffly. "Real? Nah. People get into it on Halloween, that's all. Nobody's in any danger, just stories for the night." "No, that didn't sound like a story. That sounded different," she insisted, and then hung up abruptly. Evan leaned back, staring at the blinking board. His voice dropped, quieter now, almost to himself. "Guess we've got a real debate going tonight. Some of you think it's fake. Some swear it's not. That's the fun of Halloween radio, right? Keeps us guessing." But even as he said it, his tone dipped, more serious, betraying the unease he couldn't shake. "But I'll admit, that one stuck with me." Something about the night had changed, and Evan knew the evening was far from over. Evan took a slow breath, trying to reset himself, then leaned toward the mic. "All right, let's see who's next. Line 3, you're live on WKXT." A woman's voice broke through, frantic, whispering like she was trying not to be heard. "I don't know what to do. I'm in the parking garage at the mall. He's been following me since I left work." Evan straightened, the joking tone gone, his voice lowering, steady but uneasy. "What do you mean someone's following you?" Her words came quickly, terrified. "He's walking around, circling. I'm trying to get in my car, but..." Keys jangled through the phone, sharp in the studio's quiet. Then a car door slammed shut. Evan stiffened. "All right, you're in the car. Lock the doors. Call the police right now," he said, voice urgent. A sharp knock echoed through her phone, knuckles on glass. The woman gasped, stifling a cry. Don't open the door," Evan shouted into the mic. Through the phone came muffled breathing, then the metallic rattle of a door handle being yanked. The woman let out a choked sob.
No!
Evan's pulse hammered in his ears. "Start the car. Just go," he urged, desperate now. A beat of silence, then the faint sound of fabric. A struggle, a muffled cry. Something slammed against the car frame. Then, nothing but static. "Hello? Are you there?" Evan shouted, leaning into the mic, but the line stayed dead. Jesus Christ, he muttered under his breath, sitting back and dragging a hand down his face. He forced himself to steady his voice before he spoke again to the listeners. Folks, I don't know what's going on tonight. Maybe it's all a setup. Maybe not. But if anyone out there's thinking of pulling another one of these stunts, don't. I'm not joking anymore. Evan steadied his breath. His voice was tighter now. Every word weighed. Okay. All right. Let's take another call. WKXT, you're live. A man's voice came through, cocky and laughing. Man, you're really leaning into it tonight, huh? Basement girl. Parking garage lady. What's next? Somebody calling from a haunted graveyard? Evan's reply was flat. No trace of amusement left. Yeah, hilarious. You want to tell me where you were about 10 minutes ago? In a parking garage, maybe? The caller laughed harder. Nah, DJ, I'm sitting at home. Just saying, you're killing it. The line went dead. Evan exhaled sharply through his nose, jaw tight. Another call blinked. He pressed it, bracing himself. A man's voice came on. Low, frightened, trying to stay calm. I don't know if this is a frat prank or not, the man whispered. But I think I'm in trouble. Evan straightened, every nerve in his body tightening. His tone shifted, urgent, serious. All right, take a breath. Where are you? The reply was a whisper, almost swallowed by static. I'm in the trunk of a car. What? Evan swallowed hard, his voice low and steady but trembling at the edges. Okay. Stay calm. Just keep talking to me. Can you see anything? Hear anything? A faint noise carried through, the crunch of gravel under tires, a turn signal clicking. Evan stared at the board, his mouth dry, barely audible to himself. Jesus. The man whispered again, his voice cracking. I think he's stopping. The line filled with silence and faint static. Evan leaned into the mic, urgent now. Stay with me. Don't hang up. Just stay. A slam of metal. A violent thud. Dead air. Evan stared at the console, voice low, shaken. God! He sat back, trembling. The night had stretched too long. Hours of calls, of laughter, of fake scares. And then the basement, the trunk, the parking garage. Each one played over in his mind. The sounds, the fear in the voices, the way they had ended. Nothing about them had been a joke. Not even close. The phone line blinked. One final call, the last of the night. Evan's hand hovered above the button, nerves tight. He pressed it. The voice that came through was calm, too calm, not trembling, not panicked, just quiet. The calls you've taken tonight, the voice said. The parking garage, the trunk, the basement. Those three were real. You just didn't know it. They were taken. Evan froze. The words slid under his skin like ice. All night, he had been a witness, a helpless conduit. He hadn't been able to save any of them, and the presence behind these calls, this voice, had been listening to him all night. Thanks for keeping me company, the caller whispered, playful, almost gentle. Same time next year? The line cut. Dead air. Days later, the town was buzzing. 3 people, the voices he had heard that night, had vanished. Disappearances no one could explain. The basement. The parking garage. The trunk. Evan realized something even darker. It wasn't just the callers who had been caught in something they couldn't escape. He had been caught too. The night had ended, but he knew it wasn't over. The presence of something waiting, something watching, hadn't left. So the next time you receive a call and a voice pleads for help, will you respond or will you laugh it off as some sick joke?